Right, Shalom, Shalom. First one was like raw praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rakakadash. The honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and to all the saints rocking out there pressing the truth and sincerity. This is the brother Abanya.
Shemaya Allah.
And Amayala.
Just wanted to go into a quick lesson. The brother Shemaria, had this video, and Lord willing, we're gonna play the video, and go in through the spirit, So here it is.
Prayers back to your church. That's a proper place to pray. So I'm sure that God will hear your prayer just as well down there as He will up here. But you're not going on this courthouse alone.
Sir, whenever there are men who are in sinful conditions, prayer should be uttered.
Well, why don't you pray where you are? Go back down there and pray. You think you're lily white? You think you're not sinful? Well, then go back to your church and pray.
Well, sir, can we pray together, you and I?
You do your praying. I do mine, big boy. You don't pray for me. I don't want you to pray for
Well,
me.
will you pray for us?
Because I don't think your prayers get above your head.
Well, will you pray for us?
No, I'm not going to pray for you. I'll tend to my business, you tend to yours. Now, you better move these people.
Sir,
I'm trying to protect you.
Sir, sir, if
I don't have to love anybody I don't want to love.
Sir,
You do your own loving. You love your little niggas. I love who I please.
do you believe in equal justice for all?
I believe in justice.
And that goes to show, the hatred that Esau has for us. Anybody had anything off top?
I got that in Ezekiel chapter 35 and 5. It says, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end.
God, and that perpetual hatred is being shown. You got him blowing out, in a police uniform, which is symbolizes the oppression of Jake. Literally, like oppressing them, and with their laws, their policies. And then Jake, being simple. Read that again.
It's Ezekiel 35 and 5. It says, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time...
It said a perpetual hatred,
I got that word, perpetual.
God.
It says, ulam. Was alarm. And it says, long duration, antiquity, meaning like from ancient times. It says, forever, ever, everlasting, evermore, undying. So it's like an undying hatred, that Esau has for the nation of Israel, man. And you can see that take place in today's world, man. That's the reason why you have Jake still uprising and, asking for, saying Black Lives Matter, asking for equal rights and all that, to this very day.
Hey, well, everybody's using the term racist. If you want to grab that in etymology, the word racist.
Quick precept.
Go ahead.
And this goes into the reason why the Edomite is acting the way he's acting. We are under the curses, pursuant to Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 37. And it reads, it says, and thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, whether the Lord Yahweh shall lead thee. It's like, and like we were led into captivity over here in Babylon, aka America, and the so-called white man Esau Edom is ruling over us. And you see, as the brother said, that the perpetual hatred, and you see the astonishment that he has for us, and you see the bywords as he's using the word nigger, and you're not lily white, and hey, we're not going to pray for you because we don't believe your prayers are going to go past over your head. It's just showing you that astonishment they have for us.
God, and us being a proverb and a reproach.
God.
You got that?
Racist?
Yeah. Racism.
In online etymology for racist, it says 1932 as an adjective from 1938 for race. racism in the use of 1928, originally in the context of fascist theories, and coming from 1936. It says the words replace early racism and racialists. Not really going in depth,
Yeah,
like
so see if you can get to the point.
kind of. Says returning recently from the 6-month visit to Europe and the Reverend John. It's like giving like a.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm worried about. If I run into it,
Oh, here it says right here. It says in the U.S. race hatred, race
There we go.
prejudice has been used, and especially in the 19th century political context, Negro fidelity. I don't know how to pronounce that word.
So the point is,
Negrophobia.
Negrophobia. Yeah.
yeah, they twisted it up. But to be racist, only means to be for your race. You know, because hey, Yahweh Shemi Awasai is a separatist. Somebody want to grab that Psalms 147 and 19, because the Lord wasn't dealing with everybody. The Lord separated. You know, and the Lord separated Israel from the rest of the world. Give me Deuteronomy 28 and 15.
147:19.
147:19 and Deuteronomy 28, 15.
This is the book of Psalms, 147 verse 19, and it reads, it says, He sheweth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel.
Right, his word unto Jacob and his statutes and his commandments unto Israel. He didn't do that with all the other nations. So the Lord separated, the nations or whatever. So he was only for Israel, pro-Israel.
Hey, that's right. It tell you right here. I got a quick precept. Amos, the 3rd chapter. It says, "Hear this word that the Lord Yahweh hath spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up out of the land of Egypt, saying, You only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore I will punish you for all of your iniquities."
Right, and the reason why they're able to come down on us and come talk to us in that manner, is because read it again. This is why.
Amos 3:1. It says, "Hear this word that the Lord Yahweh hath spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up out of the land of Egypt, saying, You only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore I will punish you for all of your iniquities."
For all of your iniquities, because we went off and we went and strayed from the words of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. You got that Deuteronomy 28:15.
God, it's perfect. This Deuteronomy 28:15. It says, "But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord Yahweh thy power, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I commanded thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee."
Right. So if we didn't keep the law, statutes, and commandments, hey, we were going to be cursed. And all the curses that are written in the book will come upon us, and that's exactly what's happening. Israel is under a curse because they don't follow the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Shem Yahushai.
And then part of that, and brother had brought this out earlier before we started the live. He said, for Isaiah 33:6, "And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord Yahweh is his treasure." With that being said, that man was stripped of that knowledge, and that's the reason why he's sitting there trying to pray with his enemy, because he don't even know that Esau is his enemy, because he's been taught through Christianity, that we are all one, or
Yeah,
we
God,
all can make it. We're all one people. He doesn't understand that the so-called white man Esau Edom is his sworn enemy from the beginning, and so he wants to pray with this man that's off. That's part of the curses,
God.
being blinded, not understanding that.
Hey, precept to that is Hosea 4:6. It says, "My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge."
God.
And that's what the brother's going into, that knowledge that, who our enemy is, which is one of the top things that Israel should know, along with the names of the Heavenly Father and the Son.
That's right.
But, you had that Jake trying to trim his way, to seek love from rights, to, begging their enemy for justice, man. You're not gonna get justice from this devil, man. The scripture say you got a perpetual hatred, so it's undying, man.
God.
And that's what, Martin Luther King put that spirit on a lot of Jakes to love the enemies and to turn other cheek and be non-violent. Somebody attacking you, don't attack back.
Hey,
So to speak.
go along and get along.
God.
Be a part of their society. But hey, they don't keep the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bashim outside. They shouldn't be around us.
Right. Hey, and it goes on even further. That's a segue right into that. I'm gonna read again. Hosea 4:6. It says, "My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge. I will also reject thee, seeing that thou." It says that thou shalt be no priest unto me, seeing that thou hast forgotten the law of thy power. I will also forget thy children.
Okay.
It's not that the knowledge ain't available. You got the prophets out here, teaching his word, bringing it out week in and week out in the sit downs on the highways and hedges. But 2/3 of the nation, they reject it. So yeah.
And that time was reminiscent of, how people are protesting now and right, but it's a little different now. Jake a little rowdy, that non-violent mindset is definitely that spirit is definitely been lifted. in some aspects, you still got people being peaceful protesting, but you got people that are being a little reckless out there. But it just shows you that that type of kind of slacking.
Hey, that hatred is still there.
Yeah.
That hatred never left.
Never
You
left.
know, and for a time you talk about like you mentioned the time that was in what, the 50s, 60s. And here it is, 2020. What, 60, 70? I said 60. About 50 years went by. For 5 decades, and that hatred still there. Give me though he go crouching, though he humble himself. Hey, he proved that he still hates us. For a time, we always try to bow down. If you want to get that wide trip without way to seek love, bow down to our enemy. And he tried to make it seem like, oh yeah, he for us. Black Lives Matter. But he's showing the complete opposite.
And all that marching Jake do, man, that shit ain't amount to nothing, man. He never did. That's the reason why with this whole George Floyd situation, that was kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back. Now whether it was like a psyop or, because you got people that saying that it might have been staged or whatever the case was, they're using that to push that out to the public. And it's an operation that they're running on you Jakes, man. They really putting you in the snare. They're allowing Jake to loop, and I ain't trying to go too far off into that. But you do got Jakes that's waking up to it, but then you also have Jakes that's still in that mindset of trying to trim their ways, And now I just want to grab that real quick. Jeremiah 2 and 33. It says, "Why trimmest thou thy way to seek love?"
Right? Why are you trying to fit in with the rest of them? Hey, this is not our rest. Hey, our focus should be on doing the work and pleasing Yahweh Bashim Yahushua.
That's right.
Not trying to be a part of Esau society.
It's not our rest.
And when you go into that word trimmest. When you go to that word trimmest, it's yatab. It says to be good, to be pleasing, be well, be glad. Jake do the most to try to be pleasing to the devil, man. Yeah, I know. It goes into you got that scripture, man. Segue into that.
What? If you got scripture?
No, this is.
Never trust thy enemy. Sirach. Yes, Sirach.
That's Sirach 12 and 10. I got that right here. 1 second.
Got it. It's Ecclesiasticus or Sirach chapter 12 verse 10, and it says, "Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness."
Right, and the white man when we so-called came over here on the shores of America, hey, he showed forth his wickedness, you know? And then for a time, you know, it seemed as if he was okay. You know, they went from having colored only, whites only restaurant stores to everybody's stores. You know, and then it said what?
It says, "For like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness."
So is his wickedness. So yeah, for that time, you know, it seemed like it was wiped away. But then you get incidents like the George Floyd, the you know the whole racist stir up, you know, and it goes to show that he still has that perpetual hatred, you know, and it's being brought more and more obvious. You go
It
ahead.
says, "Though he humble himself, Salakia, and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him."
Right, and take good heed and beware of him, you know, because hey, like the scripture is gonna say, hey, he was wicked and he gonna continue to be wicked. Go ahead.
And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust have not been altogether wiped away.
Right, because he always gonna have that hatred towards you Israelites, you blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. You know.
Okay.
So anybody have anything else?
Hey, well, shoot, in the beginning of that, in verse 12, Sirach 12 and 4, it says, "Give to a godly man and help not a sinner."
Right. Esau is a sinner. You know. So hey, with that, you know, I give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Kakodash, the one that said the apostles and elders of great millstone, to all the saints rocking out there pressing the truth and sincerity. Shalom.
Shalom.